Story 1. Hey Brother by Avicii. My brother, in a special way, dedicated the song to me. Now I have a Hey Brother tattoo with the Avicii logo, and he has a Hey Sister tattoo with the Avicii logo. Story 2. Christmas Time is Here, from the long ago Charlie Brown's special Christmas show. As soon as the piano begins playing that iconic tune, it brings me to tears of happiness because my children enjoyed that special every Christmas. Story 3. You may feel alone when you are falling asleep, and every time, tears roll down your cheeks. But I know your heart belongs to someone you have yet to meet, and someday, you will be loved. Story 4. I am going to pick 2. Love the Way You Lie, Rihanna and Eminem. Must Be Doing Something Right, Billy Currington. Story 5. That Yoko Ono song, the one where she screeches and yelps a lot. Listening to it makes me envious of the profoundly deaf. Story 6. Bob Marley's Three Little Birds affects me in a very positive way. It always convinces me that it really is going to be okay, no matter how depressed, fearful, or overwhelmed I feel. Feels magical in that way, very spiritual. Story 7. Sting Fields of Gold. It's so sentimental, but I nearly weep every time I hear it. I know it's not about childhood specifically, but it makes me think of simpler times when I played outside with my best friend until the sun went down. The future seemed like it was a million years away, and you could almost trick yourself into believing you could stay young and play forever. Story 8. I Know What You Are Made Of, Lindsey Sterling. It is based on one of my favorite games, and the ending part always makes me tear up. Story 9. Cats in the Cradle. Growing up, I identified with the boy because my father was very busy and hardly around. Now, I am scared I could be turning into the father and not spending enough time with my daughter. Story 10. Gray Street by Dave Matthews Band. Stay or Leave and Do Not Drink the Water, also by Dave Matthews Band. Story 11. Abstract Psychopump by Hozier. The last lines in the song always affect me. I have to replay the whole track. Story 12. Lucky by Britney Spears. If there is nothing missing in my life, then why do these tears come at night? Story 13. Warren Zevon. Keep Me in Your Heart. I am sure everyone knows the story. It is a powerful song, especially with the context. Story 14. Drink a Beer, Luke Bryan. Leave a Light on acoustic version, Tom Walker. Destroy Me Every Time. Story 15. Die Astronauten by Anna R. It was her last song, and I learned that she died as I was listening to it for the first time. The song is about accepting oneself and moving on from the things you cannot change, but it suddenly felt like a late goodbye. Story 16. River of Deceit by Mad Season, sung by Lane Staley, now deceased. Ate Me by Blue October. Blurry by Puddle of Mud. Story 17. Somebody Someday by The Struts and Falling Apart by Michael Schultz. The second song reminds me of a very difficult few years in my life. The Struts are my favorite band, and that song affects me deeply for some reason. Story 18. White Noise by Will Wood. The last verse in particular was something that I seriously needed to hear, and to this day still makes me cry. Story 19. Merry Christmas, Darling. Karen Carpenter. 70 Million. Brings me to tears whenever I hear it. Christmas 1978 was a tough time for me. Story 20. Rap God always makes me laugh when he is mocking others. I do not know how to make songs like that. I do not know what words to use. Story 21. New York State of Mind by Billy Joel. Being a New Yorker, it hit me hard when I first left the state. It came on in the car during one of my first weeks in a new state where I did not know a soul. It still does. Story 22. Happy Hour by the Housemartins. I dare you not to dance when you hear that song. You just cannot help it. Story 23. Highway Patrolman by Bruce Springsteen. Almost every track on Nebraska is powerful, but that one in particular deeply affects me every time. Story 24. Weirdly enough, Sultans of Swing. I was formerly married to a drummer who tried very hard to make the scene, and his inability to do so was a big part of his falling into alcoholism. The story of the out-of-place band playing for almost nobody makes me cry nearly every time. Plus the guitar solo. Holy Mother of Pearl. Story 25. Someone You Loved, Lewis Capaldi. The Glastonbury live performance had me on the verge of tears, and I was at home. Story 26. A song from Mother One called Eight Melodies, specifically the version by St. Paul's Cathedral Choir. Story 27. Calling Hours by Bane. The lyrics remind me of one of my best friends, who took his own life several years ago. Letting go is never easy to do. Every day is a new door that we all must go through. I have learned so much, you are never gone, my friend. I know we will meet the same shining end. Story 28. Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. I grew up with my mother and maternal grandparents, so I was really close to my grandmother. When she was younger, in the 1960s, she was a backup singer for a very well-known band. She had sung at the Blackpool Tower at one point. She stopped because of getting married and having children. She never stopped singing, though. She loved it. Although I have never been able to sing well, I have always enjoyed singing, so we started to sing together in the living room. It was nothing much, just if a certain song was playing on YouTube or Top of the Pops, we would sing it together, both of us sitting on our respective sofas. One of the songs we used to sing together was Chasing Cars. Another song we used to sing a lot was Somewhere Only We Know by Keane. My grandmother died a month before my 18th birthday, and I still miss her. Story 29. Take On Me by Aha. When the song comes on, I can visualize the music video and my heart melts again. Also, Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Israel Kamakawiwool, because it is the song that played when my wife walked down the aisle at our wedding. In moments of panic, it always gives me a moment of calm. Story 30. Bonnie Raitt. I Can't Make You Love Me If You Don't. The way she sings it and just the words will wrench your heart. More recently, Lewis Capaldi. Someone You Loved. He sings it with such raw pain and you feel it. Both songs are about a relationship that has lost everything. The first one shows she is still mentally holding on one last time, knowing. The second one feels like the aftermath. Story 31. I Am From Austria, from Reinhard Fendrich. The unofficial anthem of Austria. Nutshell by Alice in Chains. Story 32. The House That Built Me by Miranda Lambert. Every single time, I actually avoid it unless I'm alone because it makes me cry every time. Story 33. I Have Three. In Color by Jamie Johnson. This one gives me chills. Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker. This is the one song I am the best at singing, and it is a happy song. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. This one makes me break out into song and dance like a lunatic, and I will sing it every time. Story 34. The Kerry Recruit. It was an anti-war song before that was really a concept. As an anti-war song, it does a phenomenal job. It is about a young Irish farmer who gets bored of his life and is tricked into joining the British Army, I suppose for a sense of adventure. As the song points out through lyrics, he isn't the brightest lad in Tralee. He doesn't seem to understand what a gun is initially, nor does he understand exactly how warships function. This rings true historically. Many armies throughout history have used predatory recruitment tactics, such as approaching less than academic men and fooling them into enlistment. We even see that disgraceful tactic from recruiters today. Anyway, he ends up in Crimea, fighting at the Alma River at Inkerman, and finally during the assault on Redan Fortress, he is gravely wounded. While scaling a ladder, he is shot twice. Once in the thigh, ripping a big chunk of muscle off, and again across his eye, partially blinding him. This leaves him near death for some time before he is rescued and taken to a field hospital, where, to quote the man directly, "They gave me a fine, elegant leg made from wood." Afterwards, he is honorably discharged from the army, where they gave him a medal and 10 pence a day. Then, contented with his wife, who I think was named Sheila, unless I have been mishearing that part for years, he lives on half pay. He has to support his family, crippled and no longer able to farm. What a horrific fate for a man probably no older than 25, if I had to guess. Story 35. Claire de Lune by Claude Debussy features delicate piano waves that stir emotions deeper than words can express. Story 36. Real Death by Mount Erie was written after the artist's wife passed away from cancer. He composed the album in the room where she died, using mostly her instruments. I can never get past the first song. Story 37, OMG by Usher and will.i.am. I used to listen to this song a lot back in high school days and jam to it. Many good memories are linked to the song. Whenever it comes on the playlist, I always sing along. Story 38, Dear Winter, AJR. I don't know if it's because of my own childhood trauma or the fact that, despite not wanting children myself, I want to help and work with children and do not stand for bullying. Story 39, Bette Midler. I think it is going to rain today. Oak Ridge Boys. I guess it never hurts to hurt sometimes. Janet Jackson, again. Winona, My Strongest Weakness. Story 40, Sometimes It Snows in April by Prince. That song came out when I had just lost a close friend unexpectedly from a brain aneurysm. We were 16 at the time. Story 41, Faithfully by Journey. Long Long Time by Linda Ronstadt. Right Down the Line by Jerry Rafferty. Into the Mystic by Van Morrison. Trouble by Cat Stevens. It's All Coming Back by Celine Dion. Better by Banks. Story 42. I generally do not listen to music with lyrics I understand, but an English language song came on the foreign radio I was listening to, and it happened to be the song Imminence Broken Love. I made the mistake of listening to the lyrics, so I still have the song on my device, but I do not listen to it because I like to be content with life most of the time. This song just blows my contentment right into the trash and then down a gutter, making me really wallow in the fact that I cannot get one person in front of me to want anything to do with me without having to pretend for him. I just want someone to take me as I am and accept the love that I have to offer. But that has not happened for me in nearly 40 years alive, unfortunately. Story 43, Wish That You Were Here, Florence and the Machine. From a movie I did not watch. Makes me miss family who have passed on. Story 44, Scorpions' Wind of Change. Queensryche Silent Lucidity. Story 45, There's that song by the Cardigans, Loveful. I used to hate that song until I learned about its history. The Cardigans were an alternative punk band and decided to make Loveful as a mockery of other desperate love songs. Story 46, The Easter version of Hallelujah. Holes in the Floor of Heaven. Concrete Angel. If Heaven Wasn't So Far Away. Whiskey Lullaby. Story 47, Mr. Blue Sky by Electric Light Orchestra reminds me of my dad. Now, it is considered cool to use songs in commercials, but I grew up listening to Electric Light Orchestra on 8-track. No matter how popular it is now, it will always be a favorite of mine because of my dad. It is also just a lot of fun to sing along with. Story 48, Sledgehammer by Rihanna. Insight by Depeche Mode. Both take me to another place and have helped me through difficult times. Story 49, Sledgehammer. Story 50, Truth is a Beautiful Thing by London Grammar. It moves me deeply every time, including right now. Story 51, Please Don't Cry, You Have Swag by Hot Mulligan. Story 52, You Will Never Walk Alone. Big Family, Red and Blue. I am a blue, so I do not hear it often, thank goodness. It breaks me. I cry whenever I hear it. I have never been able to sing it because of the memories it brings. Story 53. Surprisingly, anything by Red Hot Chili Peppers reminds me of the times before my dad got a new family, when he was still in a Christian recovery group. He had a really old blue and black Mitsubishi that he used to meet my mom halfway through the state to let me be with him during the summer. It reminds me of the exact trailer he lived in at those times, how it looked inside, and his church brothers, basically extra uncles to me, who let me play their instruments very carefully when they were practicing for the next church service. The woman who led them was a sweet old lady named Sister Marie, and she used to drive a black PT Cruiser. Their songs remind me of when my parents were still in contact with each other for my sake as a child. I am 24 now. I just got a car, and I can see him whenever I want to. It is a very strong sense of nostalgia before I grew up and needed to truly care that they were divorced. I am in the middle of 3 big families, 2 sides of which do not talk to my dad's new side, partly because his new side is my stepfamily, and he has some conflict with them. Story 54, Mayonnaise by the Smashing Pumpkins. Random, disgusting, misspelled name, but also one of the songs on the soundtrack to my life. It's the sound of a dead relationship with mixed emotions. Anger, sadness, frustration, but still shards of love left in there. The opening guitars play different tunes except when they're at their loudest, like two people who can only communicate when they're angry and yelling at each other. So many lines just cut through me, like, "We'll try and ease the pain, somehow we'll feel the same," or "Shut my mouth and strike the demons that cursed you and your reasons, out of hand and out of season, out of love and out of feeling." Story 55, Make It Stop, September's Children, by Rise Against. The list of names and ages breaks my heart every time. So many young children who saw no futures for themselves. Story 56. A Better Way from the Swiss Army Man soundtrack was the last film my father and I watched before he passed away. The song reminds me of us and the struggle to become more realized and fulfilled human beings in the midst of depression. Story 57. Hear You Me, Jimmy Eat World. My mother died when I was young, and due to a difficult family situation, I was not allowed to mourn her. The first time I heard this song, it broke the dam, and I cried hard. I feel an echo of that every time I hear it. Story 58. Just Give Me a Reason by Pink. I used to listen to it a lot when my parents were getting divorced. I was about 7 years old, and it still makes my eyes wet whenever I hear it. Story 59. Magnum Back to Earth. Reminds me of my dog we had to put down. She was a good girl, and this song chokes me up, at least if it does not make me cry. Story 60. Weekend by Malcolm James McCormick. The introduction is a combination of peaceful and haunting, but it always brings me a sense of calm. Story 61. Father and Son by Cat Stevens was my dad's favorite song. When my dad passed away in 2017, someone took me to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 to cheer me up. When Father and Son played at the end, I cried my eyes out. People thought I was really into the movie. Story 62. I Have a Love-Bye for Those I Love. Seaweed by Mount Erie. Should Have Known Better by Sufjan Stevens. Story 63. I Hope You Find It. Watch Cher's version on David Letterman from about 10 years ago. I dare you not to get emotional. She sure does sing it, and so did I. Still do. Story 64. Ave Maria, Maria Callas. A Woman's Love, Willie Nelson. Johnny Cash Hurt. Moonlight Sonata, Ludwig van Beethoven. Crying Don McLean. Emma, Sisters of Mercy. She Moves Through the Fair Celtic Woman. Quiet Joys on the Tide, Kate Rusby. Still I'm Sad, The Yardbirds. The Ballad of Barry Allen, Jim's Big Ego. It helps to know Barry Allen is the Flash. For Different Reasons. Black Betty, Ram Jam. Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple. Born to be Wild, Steppenwolf. Story 65. Feathers by A Perfect Circle. It is about how the weight of trauma can be alleviated by counseling and group therapy, grieving with other people, and that by leaning on such a support group, the unbearable weight can one day become like feathers. I am a sexual assault survivor. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.